Welcome back to a new episode about fasting. In our last episode, we discussed how more and more experts are advising against fasting and warning against viewing it as a universal solution. You can find detailed information on this in the linked episode above. Today, we're going to reassess the topic based on the latest studies and developments. What has changed? What remains relevant? And above all, why should you continue to hold on to fasting despite new insights? Let us clarify these questions together. Fasting, at its core, is the voluntary reduction or abstention from food for a certain period of time. For a long time, it has been seen as a beacon of hope for health, longevity, and weight control. From the so-called autophagy, which cleanses and regenerates cells, to the improvement of insulin resistance, fasting seemed to be the key to a healthier life. However, recently there have been critical voices. Science has evolved, and many of the original assumptions based on animal studies have had to be reevaluated. The human body functions differently than that of a rodent. This is becoming increasingly clear in current studies. But first, let us address the benefits that are still considered secure. Fasting, especially intermittent fasting, undoubtedly has positive effects on weight management. The body, which does not receive food for an extended period, taps into its fat reserves. This not only helps with weight loss, but also reduces inflammatory markers in the body. Recent studies show that fasting can have positive effects, especially for people with insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. By lowering insulin levels, the body's ability to process sugar improves. In a world where many people suffer from chronically high insulin levels, often caused by excessive carbohydrate intake, fasting can be an effective strategy to combat these issues. However, there are also concerns. The autophagy that we previously regarded as one of the most important benefits of fasting is not as clearly demonstrated in humans as it is in rodents. While animal studies have shown that fasting leads to the breakdown and renewal of damaged cells, this process is significantly slower in humans. Some researchers argue that the health benefits of fasting may not necessarily be due to the activation of autophagy, but rather to calorie reduction. In other words, the positive effects we observe could simply be the result of lower calorie intake rather than being specifically induced by fasting. Let us take a look at the scientific foundations. Originally, the enthusiasm for fasting was based on studies conducted on rodents. These studies showed that time-restricted feeding reduced body weight, improved blood sugar levels, and extended lifespan. The crucial point, however, is that even when the rodents received the same calorie amount as the control groups, those who ate within a smaller time window lived longer and healthier. This led to the assumption that humans could also benefit from this strategy. However, recent meta-analyses of human studies indicate that the positive effects of fasting, particularly regarding autophagy, may be more attributable to reduced calorie intake than to fasting itself. But does this mean that fasting is pointless? Not at all. Even if the process of autophagy may not be as intense as originally thought, fasting remains a powerful tool for calorie control and metabolic optimization. Fasting helps regulate metabolism by lowering insulin levels and allowing the body to utilize stored fat reserves. This is particularly relevant in a society where many people suffer from chronically high insulin levels caused by constant food intake and the consumption of carbohydrate-rich foods. A frequently discussed aspect of fasting is the potential muscle loss, as the body relies on protein breakdown for energy. In the early phases of fasting, this breakdown can be significant, amounting to about 75 to 100 grams per day. However, after a few days, when the body begins to utilize ketone bodies from fat burning, this rate drops to about 20 grams daily. These physiological adaptations are part of a normal response to fasting and allow the body to renew damaged proteins, which can be potentially beneficial. Studies show that prolonged fasting can preserve muscle tissue by lowering myostatin levels, a protein associated with muscle wasting. This suggests that the body's adaptive mechanisms may reduce the risk of muscle loss, indicating that fasting may not be as harmful to muscle health as often assumed. While muscle loss can be a concern during fasting, the body's ability to adapt plays a crucial role. Furthermore, it has been found that intermittent fasting effectively maintains muscle diameter, suggesting that it minimizes muscle loss compared to traditional fasting methods. Interestingly, research shows that muscle-related protein catabolism reaches a plateau after about 7 days of fasting, indicating effective preservation of muscle tissue. At the beginning of fasting, protein breakdown primarily occurs in fast-twitch muscle fibers, followed by slow-twitch fibers, as the body shifts its energy sources. The health implications are also noteworthy, as fasting is associated with various benefits, including improved metabolic health and reduced inflammation, which could counteract some negative effects of muscle loss. However, it is important to note that increased protein supplementation during fasting does not significantly contribute to the preservation of lean mass or improved body composition. But fasting is more than just a method for losing weight or improving insulin resistance. There is evidence to suggest that it can also have anti-inflammatory effects. Chronic inflammation is often the cause of numerous age-related diseases, including cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, and even neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. Fasting can reduce inflammatory markers such as C-reactive protein and interleukin-6, which protects the body and lowers the risk of chronic diseases. Another facet of fasting that is often overlooked in discussions concerns hormonal imbalances. Fasting can have complex effects on hormonal balance, an aspect that is often not sufficiently considered in discussions, as the subtle nuances of hormonal regulation frequently remain overshadowed by the more obvious health benefits. Particularly in women, fasting can lead to hormonal fluctuations that can have both positive and negative effects on health, underscoring the need to carefully monitor and understand these changes. In women with polycystic ovary syndrome, a common hormonal disorder characterized by irregular menstrual cycles and elevated androgen levels, intermittent fasting can even have positive effects in some cases. It acts as a gentle regulator that helps harmonize androgen levels while simultaneously improving insulin resistance, which plays a crucial role for many affected individuals. Nevertheless, it is of utmost importance that women with hormonal disorders or fertility issues undertake fasting protocols only under medical supervision, as individual responses to fasting can vary significantly and may carry potential risks. Fasting can also induce hormonal changes in men that are often surprising. Studies show that fasting can temporarily lower testosterone levels, particularly in lean, active young men, indicating the complex relationship between food intake and hormone production. At the same time, fasting increases the production of human growth hormone, a key factor for muscle building and bone health, highlighting the dual nature of fasting as both challenging and beneficial for physical fitness. Interestingly, despite the reduction in testosterone levels, studies have not observed a significant decrease in muscle mass or strength, suggesting that the body is capable of adapting to these changes and utilizing its resources efficiently. It is important to emphasize that the hormonal effects of fasting can vary greatly among individuals and depend on factors such as age, sex, health status, and the type of fasting. This variability makes it essential for individuals with existing health issues or hormonal imbalances to seek medical advice before starting a fasting program to ensure they are well-informed and safe on their path to better health. At the end of the day, fasting remains an intriguing and effective method for improving health. Even though the latest scientific findings may temper some of the earlier hopes, it is clear that fasting still offers numerous benefits, from regulating metabolism to reducing inflammation. Find your balance and stay flexible, as the art of fasting lies not only in discipline but also in adaptability. Especially when one is well nourished with proteins before and after fasting and additionally engages in strength training, there is not much against fasting for most people. However, it is important to emphasize that fasting is not a rigid plan, but rather a versatile tool that you can adjust and optimize to achieve your personal health goals. One should be cautious when it comes to terms like optimize, as we often mean returning our bodies to a healthy baseline from which we have strayed due to our modern lifestyles. This return to a balanced and healthy lifestyle can be a journey that brings both challenges and successes. In this regard, fasting is not just a method, but also an invitation to get to know yourself better and to rethink your relationship with food and health. It encourages us to pause and reflect on what we truly need to promote our well-being. That concludes today's episode. If you enjoyed our content, feel free to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any future episodes and continue to receive exciting insights into the world of health and well-being. And as always, we wish everyone a long, healthy, and happy life. Until next time.